It's official. Summer is coming to a close and we are heading into fall. But before we can leave fall, we have to do our final summer harvest numbers. Yes, we blew out of the water the last 2 years. So what we're gonna get into today is we're gonna talk about our harvest numbers for the month of August. We're gonna talk about, what's going on in the garden. Of course, we're gonna talk about tips of things you should be doing as we head through September so that we can get great fall harvest. Can I just say, I just appreciate my Floridians so much. I did a poll recently on what was the thing that you were looking forward to the most for a Florida fall, and overwhelmingly Floridians said, not the fall harvest, not the migration of butterflies and birds, not wildflowers, not even really the holidays. What Floridians were looking forward to the most was slightly cooler weather. Not even cooler weather, slightly. I appreciate that you appreciate that we're not gonna get to have those cute fall girl, pumpkin spice latte moments as much as it's just not as hot as summer. Just letting you know, I appreciate you for appreciating that we just are who we are. So let's head towards that slightly cooler weather of fall, but let's wrap up this August harvest video so that we can talk about the future, because we're over it. We're over the summer. So let's jump into the August numbers. The numbers, like I said, they totally blew out 2020 and 2021 because see, we doubled our harvest. Hold your breath, everyone. We got a total of 2 pounds of harvest in August. That's right, 2 pounds. Which, I mean, it's a big deal because the last 2 years, I've only gotten 1 pound in August. So, I mean, okay, here's the thing. August 2020, August 2021, each only got 1 pound. So, I mean, literally, we crushed it and doubled our numbers, but we got some things to work on for next year when it comes to August because the harvests were low. But I think this is where when we think about future plans, this is where I gotta get some mangoes, not just so I have a harvest, but also because I like mangoes and y'all like mangoes. And I've appreciated all the ideas y'all have been giving me for types of mangoes. So we harvested 6 crops in the month of August. So it wasn't a total bust. It was a little bit of this and that and the beginnings of what's gonna happen in September. So I'm excited. So we got, the biggest harvest was our peppers. 15 ounces, just under 1 pound, 15 ounces of peppers. And thank goodness for them, because if I didn't have all those peppers, we probably would have been at 1 pound again. And the big driver of it was those cubanelles. The cubanelles carried through the heat. It carried through the fact that we really didn't get rain in July, and they put out some pounds for us. So cubanelles, winners, chicken dinners. A little bit of the Grand Marconis and the jalapenos did make a comeback a little bit once we started getting rain, but not a huge amount. They just added a little bit. Next up was we had our lonely little eggplant. So 3 ounces for eggplant. And then we had 3 ounces of okra. The okra is just an estimate. I have no idea actually how much okra because I always ate it in the garden, but our okra really didn't produce this year like it did last year. Last year it was more of this time, like this was what I was harvesting. And that's really because a couple things, the rain I think added to it, but it was mostly the shade, which you saw, we took back the shade level a lot, which has opened up the area. And some of the plants have gone like, yay, and some of the plants have been like, boo. So I'm excited because some of these ones, like the Cubanelle, seem to be very happy with getting more light. Even the hard prune, I'll show you guys, we'll go around, look at some stuff, but they do seem to be coming back. And some of the okras are coming back. So maybe we'll get a little bit of harvest from them in September. But okra, yay. And eggplant, yay, good job eggplant. Did something, jeez, put on enough flowers. We also got 1 ounce of tomato. Ooh, I think it was one of our last 4th of July ones before we got into a lot of the work that we did. So not much, but it is something. And then last but not least was basil with a 1/2 ounce. And and that's not even the last but least. The last but not least was beans, but these were our first Puerto Rican beans. Puerto Rican beans are definitely starting to come in. You can see how much they're filling up behind me. I'll take you and show you, but they are definitely coming in. Looking at the beans themselves, they're slightly smaller than the Cherokee beans, black beans that I've been using. I would say they're about 60 to 75% the same size. So they'll have to produce more, but that's okay because there's a ton of pods. And some of y'all were telling me, those who already have Puerto Rican black beans established, that you were starting to pull in like a pound a week. I'm not seeing a pound a week, but I'm definitely seeing that we're gonna get a nice steady flow coming through these hotter months. So I am very excited for that. So that is our numbers. That brings us up to 426 pounds so far this year and $800 and something dollars. We're over $800 for savings so far. I think that's really good because when we're looking at September, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So let's go take a look at how everything's doing in the garden so you can get ideas, because if you guys saw a couple videos ago, I put in seeds, I did pruning, there's been a lot of work happening. So this has been about a week since I did the work, and then I'll hopefully at the end of this maybe add a second week later so you can see how some of the seeds are progressing, how the transplants, starts, all that kind of good stuff is going, so that you can get inspired for your garden. Because you know what I don't want you guys to do? I know it may feel like you're already late for fall because we're heading into the beginning of September, but guess what? You can still plant stuff. You may not be able to plant everything, but there's still plenty of time. You still can get tomatoes in and peppers, and you might not be able to do corn, but try it. It's worth the try. You can definitely get beans in and pumpkins. There's so much that you've got time to do. Do not let the fact that you're a little bit behind me be the reason that you stop. Remember, I try to be, well, maybe you don't know this, I try to be a little bit ahead of you guys. So that, because I need to do stuff, edit a video and get it out to you. That takes time. So I'm always trying to be a little bit ahead of you so that by the time you're watching it, it's in time for you. So don't feel like you're behind. You got plenty of time. Get stuff out there. Don't worry about it. And here's the thing, every year is different. Because the reason you may be feeling like, oh man, I'm behind, is because we're always trying to get things done, our warm weather crops done before we get our frost. You know, like the 3 days that we get it in Central Florida, the maybe 4 hours that you get it in South Florida, and then North Florida, you guys get a little bit more than us, but still not a ton. But here's the thing, the winters down here in Florida, if you haven't lived here long, they're all over the map. I've been here and had 75, 80 degree Christmases. I've also had a Christmas where it was like, oh wow, this was nice. Halloween last year was the first Halloween that when I put my kids in their costumes, they weren't absolutely melting immediately. I was like, oh, this is actually nice weather to wear a costume in. Every year it's normally miserable. We have so much warm weather season. It is such, like, don't not do something because you think you're out of time. You probably have time. And if you don't end up having time, you'll get stuff. So just go, just keep going. So let's go around, let's look at some progress. I know for me, when I first started learning how to garden with vegetables, like knowing what plants look like and what they do initially was something that was valuable to me. So I wanna show you kind of 1 week-ish out what everything's kind of looking like so that you can get an idea, okay? So hopefully that's helpful. And then we'll talk about September. What should we be doing? All right, let's talk about our center bed right here. So you remember I did a hard prune on all the peppers. Most of, I would say about 50% of the hard prunes, I don't know how they're doing, but some of them are doing really well. And actually the one that seems to be doing the best is the Cubanelle. So here's the Cubanelle I did not prune. It's already setting new flowers. You can see some new flowers here, and we're actually getting some new peppers. So that's very, very exciting, because that means more crops for September, because those will be ready, I think, in September. So yay for that. Okra. Here's my okra. I won't eat it. I won't eat it. I won't eat it. I won't eat it. I'll eat it when I get inside. But then the other cubanelles, when I look at them, they're starting to get their first new leaves back after their really hard prune. So these seem to be taking it very well. The leaves that look really sad, these were the pre-existing leaves. But as long as the plants are bouncing back and putting new leaves on, see, you see right here? That's how I always look for, that's what I look for to make sure I know that a plant's doing okay. If you prune it, transplant it, new leaves are like what I look for to say like, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. So all the cubanelles, if you're thinking about cubanelles, they are doing great. They're gonna be like a great perennial, potentially perennial, but they're gonna be a great like multi-season plant. So they would be definitely worth the money to invest in, seeds or transplants. Next up is our little transplant, our little Christmas tree transplant. And that is, well, okay, so I was wrong. I was told it was a cayenne pepper, but it's actually a Tabasco pepper, which as soon as people start telling me, I'm like, oh yeah, cayennes are really long and Tabascos aren't. So and no wonder it made me think of a bird pepper, because Tabasco and bird peppers look very similar. But whichever, it doesn't matter. It's spicy, it's yummy, it's good. We love it. So that one's doing great. It looks so happy. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, so cute and happy. And so my okra is starting to come back. It's like, hey, there's some light, whoop-de-doo. Now here's one of my heart prunes. We'll see what happens with this one. Don't know that it'll bounce back, but it's not dead yet. Here's an okra. It got super stressed out by pulling the weeds. This is the PSA right now. Here's your public service announcement. Pull weeds when they're small, because otherwise you stress out the plant so much that it drops all its leaves. Yeah. Now, one of the peppers just gave up on me completely. It said, no, thank you to your prune. I will just die. And then over here, the jalapenos, I think these are jalapenos and Grand Marconi. Don't remember which is which. But what I will tell you is they're not dead, but they also haven't put on new leaves yet. So I don't know what's gonna happen with these two. Okra here, this one, it loves the fact that it got new light. It did put on some new flowers. I expect some more okra off of it. Very excited. The eggplants hate me. So that might have been a terrible idea, pruning them so hard. But good thing I made some seeds for eggplants, so we can just get rid of these if we need to. That was my backup plan, was put some new seeds in, see what happens. Now over here, you know, the corn that was stressing me out. It has gone nowhere. We've got no new seeds. Wait, we have something. What's that? That looks like a sunflower seed. That looks like a baby sunflower. That is not helpful. Corn, where are you? Get it together, I swear. Okay, deep breath, deep breath, deep breath, deep breath. Come on, corn, you can do it. This is your cheerleading. Ah! But it looks like my Hise, where was I seeing it? I thought I saw some new growth on this one. I thought I saw some flowers. It is in the worst location in comparison to this raised bed. But on the other side, this raised bed is doing fantastic. So no rust, no degradation, which is one of the things I really wanted to look for. The roselle, look at that. Getting nice and big. I killed one when I was putting in seeds, but it's okay. I mean, if I end up with 3, I feel like that's good. And then who else did we plant? Who else? Oh, over here, raised garden bed. Oh wait, we did all those transplants. Let's go check out some of our transplants about a week later. So let's find our first one the classic way. Here you can see. Here it is. It's lost a lot of its leaf growth, but look. See down here? Can you see that? New leaves. And you can also see the stem is green. That's how we can tell it hasn't given up on life yet. Here's one of the other ones. I think this was the actual like stem that was just leaves that I was like, I don't know if this will actually work. So it's not dead, but I don't see any new growth. That doesn't mean it's a goner yet. It just means it is. We'll watch it. We'll check in like next week and see. Maybe. Oh yeah, here's that Whopper. Okay, here's the Whopper one. This is the one that gets the big tomatoes. The stem's still green. No new, oh, no. There's some new growth right there. And then here's another one. This one looks pretty happy. Looking good. No new growth, but also not dead. Oh my goodness. Look who's bouncing back. Oh, that's a good looking Everglades tomato. And that's a good tasting Everglades tomato. Oh, they're finally coming back in a good way. Yay. Funny thing happened. I don't remember what plant this one was. It went up, its stem snapped right here, came down, rooted, sent out new plants. Ah, tomatoes, you are funny plants. So it looks like most of the cuttings looking really, really good. The ones I really want to check on are those ones that were like giant sticks that I was like, I really had no clue. It's just green. I don't know that it's going to have the ability to put anything else on. We'll find out. Let's check on it next week and see what happens. And then, oh my gosh, look at this Puerto Rican black bean. It is absolutely everywhere. Starting to get dry pods. These aren't totally dry yet, but, oh, these are. But look at these. Whew. And they're cute. I take them inside and I like shake them for my kids once they totally dry out. But they're putting out a lot. Oh, here we go, another one. I guess we're doing a little bit of harvest now. We'll count this towards September. And the flowers, I love they have purple flowers. And what's really cool is the loofah is starting to put on flowers and they're having these yellow flowers. So now we're starting to get yellow and purple and look, baby loofahs. Love how this tunnel is starting to look. It is so pretty. This is what I've been wanting for like the last couple years. And it will kind of sort of fill in, but not really. And then, oh, there it is. There's my loofah. I knew there was one that was bigger. I mean, I didn't know it was this big. Oh, okay. September, here we come. So I know if you harvest them early, that they are supposed to be able to be that zucchini substitute, but I don't know what early means. So if you know what early means, if you've done a harvest on this and used them as zucchinis, like, is this the thing? Like, is this when I'm supposed to harvest it? Maybe I'll just harvest it, and not today. We'll count it towards September numbers. But finally, I mean, look at the coverage. I don't even know what you guys can and can't tell, but there are, oh, here's more black beans. But the loofah's now about halfway down the tunnel. The Puerto Rican black bean is the entire distance of the tunnel now. Oh wow, there's more beans here. Oh wow, I got way more beans than I expected. Well, I wasn't planning on harvesting today because I didn't think there was that many, but actually being in the tunnel, there's more here than I expected. Oh, this is exciting. Because I'm gonna tell you, September's numbers, not great the last 2 years. So we need something that's gonna bring in the pounds. But let's focus on what those things might be. Because one of them, I think that's gonna be ready, is we're gonna start to get back some of our pumpkins. Look at that. I foresee that probably 1 or 2 of these in September is coming in. So I'm definitely gonna be, I think what's my, last year, September was like 3 pounds, and then the year before was like 8 pounds. So I think if we get a couple pumpkins, a bunch of black beans, some loofah, and any amount of tomatoes or peppers, we're rocking it. We're rocking it. Okay, sweet potatoes. I'm going to use some of the mulch to cover this to help get tuber growth happening. Here are cabbages and our one lonely adhesive pepper. Look how cute it looks. Doing great. But here's the thing. Carrots have not come up yet. Any day now, because it's been just about a week. But right away, within a few days, all these little beets. You can see beets all along in here. They're doing awesome. So very excited for that. I'm debating back and forth on how much I want to clear out of this cabbage, because some of it looks healthy, but some of it does not. But it is providing some shade for these little itty bitties. So I'm going to leave them a little bit longer. Over here, where I discovered I had ginger. The ginger, I don't know that it's very happy that I ripped all the sweet potatoes out. Slash just accidentally ripped it out. But we've already got some spinach seeds. So that's very exciting. So spinach is starting to come up. It looks like somebody did go digging in here, maybe a bird. because there is like a lot of millipede action in all my beds, which if you didn't know, while a lot of people always talk about earthworms with gardens, when you use mulch, you get lots of millipedes. Millipedes are really great at breaking it down, but then other animals like eating them. So there you go. Let's check out our seedlings. Now, a couple other harvests I don't expect for September, but definitely will be coming this fall is, of course, bananas and pajamas. There should be some other bunches dropping this month. So I expect we will be having some nice size fall tropical harvest of bananas. Oh, my papaya is also setting fruit now. So probably not, maybe end of September, maybe the lowest ones might be ripe. Definitely we'll get stuff in October. And then mulberries are back. Yes, mulberries. How many have we had? I don't know, I keep eating them. Okay, seed tray, let's go look. So the basil, within like 3 days, sprouted up, which is the cool thing about basil. Those tiny seeds pop open really fast. That's also what can be challenging, is though they can die really fast. So basil, then these were those really, really good tomatoes, the mids, and then this is the hisei. Hisei has not come up yet, but if I remember correctly, any hiseis we've ever gotten, they always have taken some time, but I've been doing a good job about making sure this soil's staying moist, so we're doing really good there. And then here we've got our cherries, our yellow pears, and our honeycombs. Honeycombs came up first. Still waiting on this section. Come on, yellow pear part 2. And then over here, this is our tomatillos. It looks like a basil got in somehow. So waiting on tomatillos, and then hopefully that's an eggplant or something over there. So within a week, almost everything sprouted. And if you look at the seed packets, most of them said 7 to 14 days for a lot of these harvests, or not for the harvest, for sprouting. But a lot of rain this week, a lot of heat. So those things combined, you know, when you're above that, above 75 degrees, dude, our lows were 75. So everything's above, it's been 75 like nonstop. So very warm temperatures in the soil to really get those nice seed pods softened up so that the insides can just like really break through. So very exciting. We've got seed pods, we've got bananas coming in. So we're ready to start doing some harvest soon. So let's check back in about a week. I'll give you an update on some of these seeds and starts so you can get an idea of where yours should be at. So it's been 2 weeks since we did all of our fall garden planting. So I wanted to give you a quick update on where some of our plants are at. Some things went really good, some things went fine, some things. So let's start with our seedlings and how far along they are. So here we are about 14 days out and all the basil has come up. These, which ones were these? These are early mid tomatoes. Yay. Our hiseis, no bueno. Where are they? So I'm gonna reseed our hiseis. All these are gonna need to be thinned out because there's just too many and they won't get happy. And then over here we've got our red, yellow, orange, so red cherries, yellow pears, and then our honeycomb tomatoes all came up. And actually the tomatoes were the first one to come up on all of these. Then over here, tomatillos started off really strong and then nobody else came up. The basil snuck in and it looks like our eggplant finally is starting to come up. So that's exciting. So we can go ahead and replant some tomatillos. Those were old seed packets and just see if we can get a little something to come up in this area. But otherwise, seeds looking good. Also looks like some of them ran away and got into this area over here. We've had absolutely monsoon type rain. I mean, 4, 5, 6 inches multiple times this week. So everything has been getting swamped. I mean, our backyard is very squishy right now, and our front yard, and actually our neighbor's front yard, everyone's getting a little squishy right now. But let's go up front and let's check out our raised garden beds for 2 weeks out. So this is our ginger and spinach. So one ginger's hanging on, the other one died. Oh well, so it's not too bad. And then it looks like we have some spinach starting to come up, but honestly, when I get to the sunnier side, I am not seeing any spinach other than these couple back here. And there were actually more, and then after it dumped rain, they disappeared. Now over here, this was carrots and beets. I was gonna say keppers. So carrots and beets, and here we have beets, and the beets did awesome germinating. I am super excited about them. Yes, yes, yes. So eventually we'll thin these, not quite yet, but I'm letting them go. Carrots, they were here. I know we had some. They're so tiny when they start. So here's some right here. But overall, now I had used the older seed packet, so maybe that's the problem. They're just older, but not really great germination. Pepper over here. Is this a pepper? Yep, this is a pepper. This is I think this is supposed to be an Heisei pepper. I think that's what I planted there a while back. So we'll let that keep going. And look at this. New heads on our cabbages. So we're gonna keep letting those go. So at a minimum, we got beets going on, but I do want to get carrots. So we'll probably come through and reseed this on another day. But overall, this is doing great. Sweet potatoes, great. Actually, I was gonna take what's left of my mulch, but when it comes to that mulch, if you saw the last video, the garden motivation video, that mulch was a mess. Like, it is so full of junk. It is taking a lot of effort to get any of the mulch out, one. But two, because it's so messy, there's not as much mulch left. So now I got to really prioritize where are we putting mulch, because I just have a lot less than I originally thought I was going to. But that is what it is. But let's talk about the corn bed. So our corn bed, no germination, absolutely zero. And I think on the 7-day update, I pointed out this, and there's some sunflowers that germinated, but that's not what we wanted. We wanted corn, and nothing's been digging in here. Total bust. Now we still have time for corn, but so what I've done is I ordered some seeds from Southern Exposure. I ordered 2 different types of sweet corn. So I still have some of the, I think it's called jackpot corn left over. And I've got 2 seed packets on the way from Southern Exposure. So here's what I'm gonna do a little different than I did here. One of y'all was saying like that you guys soak your corn kernels before you put them in so that you can help with the germination. I think that is a fantastic idea. I don't think that's the problem, because after I planted them, that's when we've been getting like monsoon rain after monsoon rain after monsoon rain. So there's been a lot of moisture in the area, but you know what? It's better to be like confident and like, yeah, that's not the problem. So I'm going to, whatever I get next, I will soak, put them in. And when I get the seed packets, I'll tell you which ones I got, because I don't remember. And here's the thing, corn, technically, I was rechecking the University of Florida. You can plant anytime from August through April, May of the year, with the most ideal time being January, February. But we can still plant it. And we've typically had pretty warm winters. So I want to try it. So we're going to try it. So we'll try it. Now let's head to our eastern tunnel, because this is looking gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I am just loving this. Look at this. So as we think about what's going to be harvested in the future, there is a lot of good stuff happening. So we've got loofahs starting to come in, and I've been trying to do some research on like, how do you know you can harvest them to use them like zucchinis? Because we've got 3 so far. I got 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. The Puerto Rican black beans are really coming in, so we're gonna have more of those for September. I think we'll end up having some loofahs for September, so that'll be exciting. Tomatoes, I'm gonna have to find some of the cuttings that are in here. We've got a lot of the seed starts that are doing really well, so that's exciting. The Everglades tomatoes, some of them are bouncing back. The western tunnel is just not getting enough light right now. So when we think about tomato cuttings, remember the stick in the ground. So you can see it's not dead. Don't know if this is gonna end up doing anything. This was one that I just told you I did not have any clue if that was gonna work out. We have one of our Everglades tomatoes is starting to take off. So we're just gonna wind you up right there. So we'll have a fresh Everglades tomato in case I wanna just get rid of this one. Did we have any other cuttings on this trellis? I cannot remember. I don't see them. I know we did way more cuttings over here. Here's one of our tomato cuttings still going. Overall right now, not a lot of stuff is doing well on this arch, and it's because this, I think we still have way too much shade. I've been working out in the garden all day today, doing a lot of stuff that you just saw in a different video, and this area really has not gotten sun most of the day, and that is very concerning. Now, as we head into winter, this will lose a bunch of leaves and the sun will be, more that direction. But right now, all the plants here, they're just not gonna get enough light, and we need to open this up more. So Ben and I are talking about what are we gonna do. So when it came to pruning peppers, all the ones that were already stressed died. The Cubanelles seem to be fine, but I do think they would do better if they got some light, which they're not getting a lot of light. So the good thing is this area is very shaded now, which is really nice for working in it, but it's not so great for a bunch of my plants. But I expected August or September. I was like, the next bunches are dropping, and bam, here they are. Here is one flower, yay. And then here is our other flower. And I think we're gonna get a whole nother one that's gonna drop into Shane and Kim's yard again. But this will be really great because these should be ready come November. So September, October, end of November for these two. And I expect the one in the food forest should be ready kind of early November. So it's good to see that we have some stuff going that's like setting up really, really good fall again. Because, you know, as much as August was like, you know, September, October, November, yeah, those are some big months. So as we're thinking about what to do with September, I know a bunch of you said you felt like you were behind, like you hadn't got started, and I don't want you guys to get demotivated. If you started seeds and they're not doing so great, go buy some starts or get another packet of seeds and start again. You still have time. Like I said, with like the corn, like you can do it almost every month. It's just like what's going to give you the best yields for your location. So just don't take it as like you're done. So September, keep planting those fall crops, things like tomatoes, peppers, corn. You can do all that. Pumpkins, go for it. If you want to do sweet potatoes, I would say don't plan for a harvest this year, but you can get some stuff established if you wanted, depending, especially your central south. You can have a decent amount of time. And then you can start also considering getting seeds for cold weather crops, because we are heading into a season where if you're going to do seed starting in September, like later in September, early October, you can be considering things like your brassicas, so broccolis, cauliflowers, what is the other one? Cabbage, Brussels sprouts. So think about grabbing seeds for those. And then the other thing I would do in September is start paying attention to the rain forecast, because typically, now this year's been weird, typically this is when we start the beginning of the month where we'll get regular rains, but then we'll start getting spottier mid to late month. So pay attention, because especially if you got seedlings in the ground and new transplants and new cuttings, right? They're really vulnerable to changes in the water level. So, you know, just pay attention and be ready to get your little spritz bottle out or get your garden hose or your watering can. All these things are good. So you make sure you keep those things alive so you can get some awesome, awesome fall harvest, awesome early winter harvest. Don't let that get you down. And here's the thing. Remember, in Florida, every month you can plant something. Every month you can grow something. Every month you can harvest something. You are never behind. You're just picking the next thing. Okay? So if you need some inspiration to get your garden back together, check out this video. And if you need some inspiration about what to plant, go ahead and check out this video. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye.